Hi, and welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
I'm always waiting on Beth and her strings.
Wait, I gotta put a stitch. Wait.
I have to
Let me just
put
put on
a
my
thread.
glasses.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're doing well. It's mid-September.
And thank you to all the new subscribers.
Yes.
We really appreciate it.
We're like 6 away from 400 now, something like that.
Maybe less. And so we're gonna have a giveaway when there's 400.
Yeah, so we like to do giveaways. If you've been with us long, you know that. Our Christmas one was really fun, the 100th episode, remember?
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. And 300 was fun. So we're heading up to 400. We only need, I checked this morning, I think we're 6 away. So tell your friends. And if you're not subscribed, please just hit that subscribe button. We show up every Sunday morning and we talk about what's going on in our lives, what we're working on, and cover a vast range of things. So if that's your jam and you need company to sit and do your craft with, we're happy to do that. The weather is finally turning. I celebrated a day that I celebrate every year, which is the air is actually cooler than my skin day. And it happened early this week. I guess the day after the rainstorm. Yeah.
Midweek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so nice. So
I like
we're getting there.
when the water comes out of the cold water faucet.
Oh, that's much later.
Yeah. Well,
When
right now
when the
it's
water's actually cold.
yeah. It early in the morning. It's actually cold. Like I when I go to take my pills and do all my stuff, wash my hands. I fill the cup first because the first water out of the faucet is cold.
Right.
And then it kind of, it's kind of cool, and then it kind of gets lukewarm. But so to take my pills, whatever.
Yeah.
That first cup of water is cold.
I always say in the summer, you don't have to cook your veggies. All you got to do is rinse them off, and they're cooked.
Your faucet is really hot.
It depends on where the pipes are laid.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because when I lived over on Cindy Street,
Mm-hmm.
there was no cool water coming out in the summer. It was boiling hot, straight from the.
Yep.
And,
From the cold tap.
On Facebook, somebody I know was like, my washing machine won't wash anything because the water is too hot.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that post. I was like, I know. I worry about that. I actually, in the summer, a lot of times my nice work clothes, I won't wash them till the nighttime. It's because I'm thinking if the cold water's coming out of my tap that hot, it's got to be coming into the washer that hot, obviously. And so if I have to do a cold water wash, I do it at night. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Back to normal life a little bit. Are you going first?
Yes, I am.
Excuse me.
Stop sneezing on me.
That was a cough? Wasn't a sneeze? Goodness.
So, I've been working on my WIP-GO stuff. I did the I think last week. Did I do my 7 days last week?
I have no memory of last week.
Yeah, I think I did because I started on this on Friday.
That's your job to remember.
Well, I thought I knew, but now I don't. But so I was working on my second WIP-GO call that I was doing, which is Spring Scamper by Mr. Purcell of Luminous Fiber Arts, and that's this one here. And we'll have a picture of it because it's a little more detail. So I wanted to finish this chicken. Yeah, I did talk about it last week because I was talking about chicken wings. Yeah. So I had just done part of a chicken wing here, and so I finished this chicken in the middle. So there's another bunny behind this chicken that I didn't do because I worked a little bit on down here. There's some little red flowers, and there's a bunch of them across the bottom here. So I did a few of them here, and I finished the chicken, and I did this carrot, and right now I'm doing the greens on this little carrot over here. But I've done 6 days plus on this one because it took me an extra day or so to finish this chicken, and then I just have done some more stuff on there just in the last couple days. So I've hit the goal on my two WIP-GO whips. And then I started on one of my new starts, which is the bear from what is it? A Year in the Woods. I'm getting these mixed up with the other one. A Year in the Woods. So this is the 1, 2, 4, 5, 6th in the series. And so I have a start on all of them. I haven't finished any of them, but the first one I got the furthest on. And this one actually I got pretty far on because I worked on the border of it early on before my time to work on it, so that I had this place, and I went ahead and did down this side just to partly because I had just done just the first 4 stitches, so I could place the end of one and the beginning of the next one. And so I just did, I finished the thread across here and I finished the thread going down this way because I wanted to make sure, because this isn't quite all the way in the corner, it's kind of, off the corner a little bit. So since I was starting with this green color, I had to have the border there so I could, count more accurately where to place the thing. So I did this one color of green, and I did these 2 little cattails here, and there's a couple more down here. And I was going to actually work on this today, but I realized there's a cat print on this fabric that I'm going to have to wash out. My cat Snug has got a problem with one of his paws, and he very often will lick at it, and he gets it.
You've told us about it last week.
Yeah. So he was lying on my fabric on this thing.
Apparently, yes.
I dozed off, and he was lying on there, and I saw a little print on there, and I thought, well, I think that it's not that noticeable. Maybe it's under the stitches or whatever. And then when I looked at it here in the better light, I realized, yeah, that's pretty stained. I need to wash that out. And when I was working on Daily Walk in the Woods last month, it was the same thing. No, it was Winter Gathering. Earlier this week.
Yeah, earlier this month.
Yeah. So fortunately, that's all DMC kit threads or whatever, and I was able to wash that out. This one I'm a little more concerned because it uses Havana as that brown color, and that's a Week Star Works color Fancy Floss, and I'm not sure how color fast that is. So that's a little bit of a scary thing. So I'm gonna try to limit my washing to that area. And then the other thing was I have various bits of haul. We went to the attic and Michael's because I'm still looking for framing ideas, whatever, for some of my my finishes that I'm working on. And so while we were at Michael's, I got a couple of threads that I needed, and I saw these things. So this is a couple of needle minders by DMC. And there's the magnets here. So I thought that was kind of cute. This one is a cupcake, and the other one is a skein of floss.
That's cute. I like that skein of floss.
Yeah. And then, of course, I got another pair of scissors.
Oh my gosh.
Because, I have Black Cat season, and I wasn't sure whether I was going to get the materials I needed for it in time to start it this month as one of my new starts. But I got the topper, and I got an email about the floss pack and material that's coming. Should be here next week. And this is the little topper of the bell pull. Came on Monday. So really cute.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, so there's a little moon and stars cut out of it, and then the black cat's painted on the thing, and then there's a little
hanger bar.
Hanger bar on there.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah. So the other thing I need to do, and I kind of have it sort of in a way figured out, but I'm going to put the border pieces on it in between the six designs. But so I have to decide, you know, what border patterns I'm going to use where and all that. So that's another issue. I was kind of looking at it last night. Let's see, I'm going to put this here, put that there. So that's going to be my other new start for this month. So I have some time to work on the bear, and some time to work on my new my finishes. So one of them is the old man sampler. And the other one is the Merry Christmas Penguin that, you know, I look and see if I've got something to finish it on as a flat finish, you know. And then when we went to the attic, and I picked up a couple of colors for this. Havana and Molasses, I know I have them, but I think they must be with another pattern.
They're with the Nativity Berry.
So,
Havana is.
That could be, yeah.
I don't know about Molasses.
But yeah, so I have them, but just, you know, I couldn't find them. So yeah, I knew they were in another pattern somewhere. So I went ahead and bought them when we went to the attic. And while we were there, you know, last week I showed a couple of little cuts from that Tabby Cat material that they had. And so this week while we were there, I went into their little basket again, and I got 2 more cuts. This one, these do have the name on them. It says Legacy. So maybe, I don't know if it's Tabby Cat or not, or if it's on just on that table. And if it's, because Legacy Linen is name brand, so I don't know. But this is 38 count. This one is 37 count. Corn Tassel is what it's called. And it's kind of a slightly yellow, nice little neutral. And this is like an 8 by 8 1/4 cut. Little size cut. So these are really good for smalls. And then this one, I'm thinking might be part of the giveaway. It just depends on what we decide to do for the 400 subscriber giveaway. But this one is Cloister Cream, 10 by 11, 38 count. So it's a slightly larger piece, but it's, you know, still a nice small piece for doing something smallish. So I bought those 2 pieces at the attic. And then today, because I knew that the package from Lindy Stitches, which is where the Black Cat season patterns are from, I knew that package wasn't going to be in the mail today, but I just, you know, hoping against hope, I went and looked. But what was in there, and I don't think anybody has talked about it, because I hadn't seen it and hadn't anticipated it.
I saw it at the attic when we were there.
No, but, well, I didn't see it. I saw the winter issue, I mean the issue before, but not this one.
I saw that one.
But this is the fall edition of, they call it the fall issue of Punch Needle and Printer Stitcher. And there's some really cute patterns in here. I did a really quick.
Every time you get one of those magazines, I'm like, ooh, I want to do that. And I never do.
But there's some real cute things in here. I like this Merry Halloween. It's a very prim kind of thing, but it's cute. Little fat pumpkin. And there's just lots of cute things. The Raven's pumpkin, I think this is really cute too. It's a little bird in the fat pumpkin. Pumpkin.
Cute.
Pumpkin.
And this one, the pumpkin tree. This is by Homespun Prims by Lori. That's really cute.
Ouch.
But, so anyway, that was a nice little surprise in today's mail. And I think that's about it for me.
Okay. I think I'm going next.
Yes.
But I have to put a thread now because I want to pick this up. So I'm going to talk while I finish this row. I finished, as you know, maybe if you remember from last week, I finished Jordan's sweater. Here's a picture of it on the Hanneken, as we call it. If you're new to us, my daughter's name is Hannah, and I have a dress form with her measurements. And so I affectionately, or maybe Mark coined it. My husband might have coined it. The Hanneken.
It's probably Mark. He's very funny.
Mark. Anyway, we call it the Hanneken. And so I put Jordan's sweater on there, and it's still in my living room. I need to wash it, and then actually, because it's wool, but it's mostly acrylic, what I'm going to do is put it in the dryer. So it's been sitting in my living room, so I had a very hellish week at work, and so every time Mark walks by it, he takes the sleeve and says, "Hello, Jordan." This sweater is for my daughter's best friend, and here it is on the Hanneken. So it's been very nice. It came out I don't know, I won't say way better than I expected, but there was a moment where I was very worried about the neckline, because when I was just knitting it before I put in the ribbing, it looked huge and I knew that I was adding an inch of height, once I put the ribbing in, but it just looked like it was so big, like it would just fall off her shoulders. But the ribbing turned out perfectly, if I must say so. And I did it a little over, it said an inch, I did probably an inch and a quarter. So that was fun. And that came out very, very well. I'm switching needles now, and I'm going to do it now while I'm talking so I don't forget, because I don't know how many times in my knitting life I'm supposed to switch needles, and of course I don't switch the one where the stitches are. I switch the new one. And then I'm supposed to turn around and switch the needles, and then I knit the next row with too small a needle or too big a needle. Anyway, what I'm working on here is called the Yara shawl. It is designed by Natasha Hornby. You can find this on Ravelry if you're looking. It's beautiful. This is only one piece of it. Once you finish this section, you pick up stitches. These are not tassels. This is just the ends of the row where this, I just have to cut.
I think you should
these
leave them. They look like tassels.
Well, so you pick up stitches along this edge, and you make it's like a rounded border, and it's very wide. The border is very wide. Here's a photo of the whole shawl. So this is just the inner portion of it, the beginning portion. So I'm working on this. I had left it so long because I wanted to finish Jordan's sweater. I'd left it so long that when I picked it up, I was completely lost, and I found a mistake.
Mm.
You don't know where it is?
Mm.
At the beginning?
No, so I'm up here, and but I was if you look back at episodes where I talked about this, I'm like, I'm really proud of this because I haven't made any mistakes. I said those words.
Famous words.
And I held it
Never
up.
say that.
I held it up across the room and to Mark, and I'm like, can you see the mistake? It's obvious. Can you see it?
No.
And then I said, it's in the crosses.
I still can't see it.
From,
Where the plus signs.
is one of them not long enough?
Do you mean because they're off center? Each one of them is off center?
There should be a second row of white at the bottom. On the
Oh.
crosses. You see that?
It looks
Yeah.
fine.
So
But
then,
as long as they're consistent. You
well,
know,
I know the whole but see how there's 2 rows here?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 2 rows down here. And I
Yeah.
honestly, because of the way you do the mosaic, I don't know how I could have done it wrong. Because you go back and forth. And so I'm about to do another cross, and I'm going to do it correctly. As far as I'm going to do it the way pattern says. But I've looked, I like zoomed in on all the samples on Ravelry, like, nope, it has 2 rows of white. I don't know what happened. And I honestly don't know how I could have done that. Because of the way you do this section in mosaic knitting. You go there and back with white. So it would have been white this way, white that way.
I think
Black
she's not
this way,
going to
black
accept
that
it
way.
because the extra row
Yeah, I
of
know.
white's
This
not
is
there.
for my daughter's teacher.
She's
who
going to
is-
say, I expect perfection. I don't want that.
So, I'm just gonna let it go. But it bothered me for a good day. I was like, when I picked it back up, I was like, oh no! And it was like the middle of the night, with that time when you're like, I'm too sleepy. I should not knit. But I wanted to do something, and I had finished Jordan's sweater, so I was kind of on a high, you know. And I'm like, I'm gonna pull out that shawl, and I'm gonna go back, and it's a good thing I did, because I just spent the evening like studying this whole complicated pattern, and I'm like, I don't remember how to do any of this. So anyway, so I found that mistake and I was disheartened, but I decided to just let it go because, as we said 2 weeks ago, finish is better than perfect. So sometimes that's true. This is not true. Anyway, I'm saying that it's true today because you can't really tell from a galloping horse, right? I mean,
Well, besides the fact that it doesn't have to fit as in like a shirt or a skirt. Or,
and it's not so glaring. It's not huge. If it was huge,
if you
glaring,
hadn't told me what that error was,
And of course, when she's, if she's wearing it,
it's wrapped around. No one's going to see it.
yeah.
No.
like I said.
But I'm actually very proud of this. It's beautiful, and I'm excited to see it morph itself. I made sock number 5.
For all you 5-legged people.
Some people need only one sock. Don't make fun. No, but I just haven't started the second one yet. And I had my husband try this on, and then so he took off the sock he was wearing, put this on, and then kept it on all night. So today I was like, "Where's that sock?" I was like, "It's on my floor." And we had talked about, because these are wool, we had talked about whether or not Hobbs would steal it. And he's like, "I don't think," because he had that other pair, that blue pair, and he's like, "He hasn't stolen those." And I was like, well, you better not just leave them laying around. So I said today, I'm like, where's that sock I made you? This, let me say that this yarn is a Regia sock yarn, but it's designed by Arne and Carlos. They have a line of their, it's called a Perfect, P-A-I-R, Perfect sock yarn. And so each skein has a portion for the cuff, and then the colored, so like if you were knitting ribbing, you would just knit until the gray ended, and then you'd start the leg, and then when you hit the gray again, you'd start the heel, and then when you finish, by the time you finish the gray, you're basically done, and then you knit the foot, and then it changes to the sock color, and then to toe color, and then there's a lot of it, so that you can make the foot as long as you want. But and then every sock, both socks come out the same. So I decided to use this on my sock machine, and I ended the hung hem where the gray ended, so you can see inside here. This is where I hung the hem, and so the whole hem is the gray, and then the leg starts the color. So when I go to knit the second one, it will basically be the same. So he tried it on. He's like, "Oh, this fits perfectly. This is probably the best sock I made." Although it kind of has a little bit of dog ears on the toe because I messed up the toe.
I thought you were gonna say dog hair or something.
No dog.
You don't have a dog.
But Mark's theory was wrong about the cat, because I found it kind of half under the bed, and there was a little tooth pull of the yarn, and it was a little bit wet. So somebody was biting it because it's wool. But anyway, sock number 5 was a success. Remember I called this, was this the one? No, it was the other, second blue one I called the lasagna sock.
Yeah.
And this one I just made in one sitting, went really well. I'm sure I dropped stitches here and there, but I'm more calm about it. And I can see it coming. And I was able to lubricate the machine because I got some lubrication for it. You have to use special for plastics. You have to use special lubrication. So that's going very well. And today I saw the cutest bunny made on a sock machine. It's like you make a tube, and then you sew it like you would sew it down the center for the legs, and you make a face. Anyway, it was really cute. I don't know how you do it, but I was like, It was so cute down on Sock Machines. A lot of people make toys. So I thought that might be a fun adventure. But that's all I have done this week, because other than that,
Sorry.
and the knitting I did on this, I did last night. It was the first time I had knit since I sat here a week ago.
Oh, wow.
That's how my week went. So, more about that later, but I just thought, so I'm glad to pick this up again and knit some without thinking about work. So, that's me.
Okay. I am working right now on Holly Jolly Christmas. This is one of my WIP-GO goals for this month, 10 days on this. I've already worked on it a couple of days. One of the times I was it last week? I was working on it here. And then I've worked on it a couple of times. And this is where I am so far. I just love when I start putting in red in this green, because that color of red is so beautiful. It has little splashes of red throughout the pattern, and then there's like a pink in like the Christmas balls and stuff to make a little pattern in there, or a highlight. I'm not so fond of the pinky color. Maybe I was supposed to use pink on the little heart. Nope, I used the right color. Shocker. It's just in the picture it looks like it's got pink in it, but maybe their red has a greater variation of color. Who knows? So that is what I'm working on while I am sitting here with y'all. And then I did some work on the Heaven and Earth Designs mini snowman snuggles. I did not do as much as I would have liked, because I'm getting into an area where I have several threads parked. I don't do it the way I've seen other things, or how you do it, I know. But I do it the way that works for me, and I think that's what everybody has to do. What does Jenny from Missouri Star say? You got to do what works right for your brain.
Yeah.
But I'm getting into an area where there's 2 stitches of this color, and then it's not for like over 10 squares, and then another stitch. I don't want to do that. And so some of those I'm waiting for it, and then I can see how far, I can visually see how far apart those colors are, because I could just stitch those and cut it, and then, start it again. So, this is how far I've gotten so far. So it's almost 3 10 by 10 squares, and I'm leaking down this way and leaking over that way, because some of the colors, rather than going across, they go down, and I'm like, well, I should just go ahead and go down, because there's less carrying of the thread over. So I'm like, I really need to examine my plan of attack on how I'm progressing. And then
Are you enjoying it though?
Yeah.
Are you excited about it?
Yeah. I mean, I work on it almost every day. Not every day, but almost every day. But you kind of have to like take everything out, and I put together the thing I'm using and put it on, and then I have to look at the pattern and go, what am I going to do next?
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to count how many stitches and where they go, and how, because I want to do the thread that makes the most sense next.
Right.
So I try to, it's going to take me years. Probably Robert, after I pass away, Robert will come and say, this snowman still has a whole page left to do. So
I was telling Eve, there was a Flosstube I was watching, some woman I had never seen her channel before, but she was talking about, I guess she did a lot of heights, and one of them, the first one she was talking about, took her 3 years to finish.
Oh.
And it wasn't a huge, gigantic one, but I don't know if it was any bigger
this is
than
a
that.
mini.
But
Anyway,
yeah.
I'd be very lucky if I got it finished in 3 years.
Well, maybe if you're working on it exclusively, but you work on so many things, it's going to take even longer.
Speaking of working with a lot of things, I have been working on this. I love this pattern. It's flamingos. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is all these little spots. Mostly because I can't count at all. And I figure, you know what, they're so random. So if I get a couple of them wrong, so what? So this is where I am. Look.
Oh, fun!
Let me see. Oh, wow.
I had to force myself to put it down and work on something else. Because I was like, it's not Christmas yet. I'm not in a hurry for that. I can do something else. And then I've really been enjoying working on Daisy May. I think that she's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've gotten pretty far.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Cute. So I have to finish this
adorable.
flower. There's 2 more bees right here. And this dress is a bear. And then there's a bunny tail. And then below her dress, there's little flowers too. And her little shoes at the bottom, they're so cute.
Let me see the pattern. Oh.
So I'm like, okay, those little shoes are killing me.
Very
So cute.
Now,
Little pantaloons.
I have more than one Stitching with the Housewives pattern. Okay, a lot more than one. I'm not working on tons of them, but I have a lot of them. And I told myself, stop buying those. Although I have noticed, I purchased a snowman pattern from them, and it is almost identical to the snowman pattern that Beth just purchased. I bought it a year ago, 2 years ago. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, well, that looks familiar. And then I noticed also one that looks very, 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 very much like another one when we were at the attic. And I was like, well, there's only so many ideas you can do.
There's only so many. I mean, snowmen come in only so
No,
many
no,
shapes.
this one wasn't a snowman.
Oh.
It was something else. But I was like, okay, they're not necessarily copying, but you know,
You feel like they're copying themselves? Like,
no.
oh,
This was 2 different artists. The one that the snowman that she bought was not by Stitching with the Housewives. And the other one, I haven't purchased any of that pattern, but it looked very much like one of her other patterns. And I'm not saying that they're copying it, so, you know, don't tell other people I said that. I'm not saying that. I said it looked like it to me. Mm-hmm. Just like George Harrison says that he didn't, you know, copy that song, but other people heard it, including a judge, and they all said, yeah, it sounds like that.
I was going to say, you know, when it comes to music, there's only 8 notes.
right.
You know, basically. And,
Yeah,
and
so-
you know, so the same thing with patterns. There's only some, you know, if you're going to make a snowman, or if you're going to make a Santa Claus, or you're going to make whatever, a house,
Yeah.
you know, there's only so many variations on theme,
yeah,
you know.
and you could see a pattern and not even remember that you saw it. You know, so
Right, exactly.
yeah. So I'm not saying that anybody copied anything. So here's my.
That's why you end up buying 2 of the same pattern, because you bought the pattern once several months ago, and then several months later you see it, you go, oh, that's really cute, and you buy it again.
That's you. That's fine. So my temperature SAL. I completely forgot to work on this. I did it. We went to a movie, which we'll talk about later, but I completely forgot to do it, and I was madly stitching. And I realized when I got up to come over here that one of the colors is wrong. So I'm going to have to take it out and put in the right color. But I take out whatever colors I need, and I have them there beside me, and I just picked up the wrong one. Okay, they all look very similar. So, here is my temperature SAL so far. And you will see there's some lighter days in here, oranger days. And this should not be this dark. It should be a different color. But the end one, which I will fix. But the couple of days that it was warm enough for me to think, oh man, I'd like to go swimming, the wind was howling, and I was like, no. A, you have to take too much gunk out of the pool before you can swim without getting leaves in your hair. And B, when you step out of the pool, it's cold. So I was like,
We
well,
still complain. We know cold is relative, but it gets cold. We feel cold even.
but the
when it's
wind,
100
yeah,
degrees.
the wind on the cold, and you know, after living here, I mean, before I moved here, when Naomi's like, yeah, I don't like to swim when it's under this temperature, and I was like, we go swimming all the time when it's 80 degrees. That's fine. It's not fine.
And now you're here, and your blood is thin, and
Yeah, you just get used to the heat. But as I said, I was working a lot on this. And I feel like I might have enough of this Sally Sunshine to finish, but I'm not sure. And I didn't want to be, you know, down here and run out of the thread, because I really like it, and I feel like I might be able to finish that this month. Yeah, it's only 10 days, and I've probably done at least that or most of that. But if I'm enjoying working on it, that's what I'm going to do. You know?
Right.
But I'm also running very low on black coffee. And then Beth lent me for the flamingos, she lent me her color called sockeye, and I had already bought the other one, and it's 2 colors of pink. And when I look at mine, they're almost the same color. And I thought, I'll just get my own sockeye because I'm using hers, you know. Because I said, I want to go to the attic and get the Sally Sunshine and the black coffee and pick up that as well. And when I started this, I thought about using the DMC floss, but it was like, you know, not variegated. But it was very different compared to the sockeye that Beth gave me. And so when I went over there, I go to get the sockeye, and I'm like, this is exactly the same color as the DMC alternative. Very melon colored, very different from this. And I was like, but I looked at the thingy, it says sockeye on it, you know, so it's not like Beth mixed up the threads and put the wrong thing on it. That's what it says, and dye lots are very different. But I said, Beth, I'm going to have to keep borrowing your sockeye because I'm not going to make these one color and then make the other flamingos on the other patterns a color that doesn't match.
yeah.
Well,
So-
and I, you know, I hadn't even used the sockeye yet, so you know, it doesn't matter to me. But I guess I don't remember what I bought it for. Bought
So-
it for some pattern, but I don't
So
know.
I get there, and like I said, I decided not to buy the sockeye because it was so different in color. They didn't have the black coffee. They had just gotten in a shipment of the whatever brand this is, Classic Colorworks, but they didn't have that, and that's okay. You know, I may or may not have enough, but Beth said she has some. Because if I don't have enough, there's only going to be very little left over to do. And I got my Sally Sunshine for the dress. And so that was all I wanted to get, and I was trying to be frugal, but I didn't have cash. I didn't want to charge $2.50 or whatever they are. I was like, that's mean. So, and I didn't want to leave without it, because I wanted to make sure I had enough yellow to finish the dress. So one of the ladies there was helping me, look. She goes, well, what are you looking for? And I said, well, I'm not really sure. I was kind of thinking maybe I saw some Christmas ornaments, those trees that I talked about. They had these beautiful trees, right? A pattern for it had little poinsettias on the trees, and I was like, they're so pretty. And I thought about that one, except when I read the back, she's like, you're gonna have to contact so and so for finishing instructions, and this thing is bought from that. And I was like, there's not finishing instructions in the package? I mean, not even in a vague way. It didn't say that. It didn't say, the template is in the, in there. And it didn't say any of that. And there might have been. I don't know. I didn't open it. But I was like, I'm not interested in getting that if I don't know how to finish it.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid of sewing or afraid of doing weird finishes. You've seen my odd finishes and my berries and all that. I'm not afraid of that. And I think they're probably very much like those cones that you made.
Oh, the Santa cones?
I mean, to finish them. I have no idea. But I decided against those, and so I was talking with her, and she said, well, what about the Christmas ornaments magazine? And I have never been attracted to getting magazines.
Oh, I love magazines.
And
I have so
and
many.
I looked at the cover, and I'm like, oh yeah, like this little Christmas thing right here.
Oh.
That, I mean, adorable. And I really like this one right here. That one.
Oh yeah.
But there's about 400 colors in there. I'm like, it's this big, and there's like a zillion colors. Okay, little owl.
Oh, that's pretty.
Really cute. Oh,
Look at this one. Yeah.
there's one in there that there's a picture where I'm like asking them, what does that say?
Yeah.
And it's candles on the bottom, but they stitched it on a kind of a like this color.
Yeah.
And the thread
It's the
at
same
the
color.
top is almost the same color, and it says Christ. But I was like, I couldn't read it on the pattern, and I couldn't read it on the finished item, and I was like, if I did that, I would not do it on that fabric.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's really pretty.
don't be surprised if you get little ornaments for Christmas.
That's fine with me. I know which one I want.
Oh,
Let me
It's
see.
a little shit. It's a little sheet, all tangled in lights.
Oh, how adorable.
I already picked mine.
Oh,
That's really cute.
yeah.
It's like tangled in lights, right? Or ribbon or
Yeah.
something.
Well, and and his fur is like a pattern. It's very cute. See if it's on the cover anywhere. No.
Is there?
There'll be a they have a page. Here it is. They have a page where. Oh, am I showing a pattern? Oops. They have a it's this one right here, and I'll take a close-up picture of that.
You see.
But
Oh, cute.
yeah,
So cute.
so I thought, I could see me doing some of these.
That's
So
fun.
That's cute.
yeah,
The Feliz Navidad.
so Feliz Navidad, yeah, that's adorable. Anyway, that put me where I didn't feel horrible using my debit card. I don't know if you guys are aware. Probably you are. I mean, you're thinking women or men. Whenever you use, even if it's a debit card and not a credit card, unless with a debit card you use your PIN number to have it come straight out of your bank, there is a charge. Now, American Express is not accepted very many places because the charge is much higher. You get your money faster, but or maybe you get your money, maybe it's longer. I don't know. The charge is higher, but they get charged, and it's not a small amount. It's a percentage of the sale, but it and or maybe an even number. I don't know. I haven't done it in a long time, and so that takes away from their bottom line, and most companies compensate for that by charging more. And so if you wonder why, fast food restaurants and stuff like that accept your cards, you're paying for that privilege. I'm happily paying for that privilege. But that's why I'm like, I don't want to do that to them, to use my card for $2 when they're going to get charged a hefty penny for that, for my privilege of using my card. So that's why I try to go, I need to make it
That's why some shops have minimum purchases too.
Yeah. Right. Something, like $10 or,
if you're going to use a card.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think it's respectful to abide by that, because there's a reason for that. They have to weigh the cost of the convenience, versus sale. So anyway, I wax on about things that don't matter.
We all do. That's the fun of our channel.
So yesterday was a memorial service for the gentleman that I had been taking care of, that had passed away in August, and it was a beautiful service. I really enjoyed the service, but it was a sad reason that I had to be there. And so when Naomi earlier this week said, I'm having a really hard week, how about we go to a movie? I was like, yeah, I think I need it. And it was so good.
We saw Haunting in Venice, and it was so good.
Yeah.
Loved it.
It was one of those movies where you jump.
Yeah. It was a little scary. It was my speed of scary.
Yeah.
Rachel has a whole other gear of scary, and sometimes she'll invite me to go to scary movies. I'm like, I'm too chicken.
I was like, I was, I'm looking
a chicken
at
heart. She knows now.
At Netflix or whatever, and there's like all these, scary, really scary movies, super scary. And I'm like, I have no desire to see.
I don't mind scary movies that are scary. Like this one was, where they find out it was really,
My little dog knows.
Mm-hmm. Somebody doing something.
Don't ruin it for them. It just came out this weekend. It's
sorry.
Nice. It's a good movie,
but
it's not. It's not like
it's not. Yeah. It like, for instance,
you see the little dog.
I really liked the very first Halloween.
Get down.
I hated all the rest because I don't want blood and gore, but I don't mind being scared. I liked the very first Predator. It was scary. Mm-hmm. I saw it in a dollar theater, and we were walking out of there at night, and I'm just like,
yeah, that's how I felt after Aliens.
Yeah. You saw it in Galveston.
Yeah. So I don't mind being scared, but I don't like movies that are have Satan or ghosts or things like that attacking people.
What I don't like is, and it's kind of a fad nowadays, where they do like some kind of you see it a lot where the camera is kind of, the film is kind of like speeded up or something.
Yes, those freak me out.
And then
those freak me out really
or
bad.
it's like some creepy face or something that flips around. I don't know how to describe it, but just yeah.
Well, quintessential. Wait, what am I doing? I'm messing up. I shouldn't talk and knit at the same time.
Because the whole thing is Perot saying the whole time, those things don't exist. Yeah. I don't believe in that.
Yeah. But no, like quintessential like horror film that grosses me out is like when they have like some girl walking on her hands and knees with her head backwards, and scuttling across the floor at you. You know, those kind of things.
Yeah, I won't watch those.
I can't.
I'm kind of torn about this film that I read about that seems to have gotten seems to be getting good remarks or whatever, but there's a Stephen King story, Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
That he famously, I was reading about it when it came out, I guess, and apparently like he had written it, and then he was so grossed out about it himself that he put it in a drawer and didn't submit it to this publisher, and then his wife urged him to do it, and he did, and they published it, and so it's there's something about it that's very creepy, but anyway, this movie Pet Sematary Bloodlines is like a prequel, where the grandfather or somebody, the father is telling his kid about the
because God forbid we write a new story.
Yeah.
But anyway, so apparently like Stephen King says it's a good prequel or whatever, but then like I'd seen just a snippet of the preview or whatever. And it shows like the car stopping. This guy gets out and there's like a dog there in the middle of the road, and I'm like, I don't know if I can even watch that movie, or certainly it was just because for me one of the things that grosses me out is, and I don't know, well, partly it's animals in general, but especially dogs. When you see a dog that is like somehow evil and demonic and possessed or whatever.
Cujo didn't bother me. I loved Cujo.
But whenever they have like even in that movie Day After Tomorrow, when these the whole world is freezing over, and these wolves escape from the zoo. And they go out, and so the kids end up having to
fight them off.
Yeah, but they were just acting like wolves.
I know, but I didn't like because they used them. They made them evil because they were the evil force against that the kids had to. And I just
they didn't make them evil.
No, but I mean they made them the bad guys basically in this particular scene.
They made them danger.
I know, but I just didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that they had to kill them. To, whatever.
They didn't kill them.
Whatever they did, I just didn't like it because they had to,
Well, you must not have paid attention because they didn't kill him.
I didn't like
watching.
it. I didn't like it.
Feared.
But so whenever they do that, I just I don't know. Maybe it's a fear or whatever, but it grosses me out more than anything else.
Really?
To see dogs snarly like that and just yeah.
So you wouldn't watch Cujo, huh?
No, well, I did like it, but
movie?
Yeah, and the novel, but yeah, I did not like the movie
Cujo because it didn't end the same way the book ended.
That's true.
Well, the way the book ended like the book did.
The way the book ends guts you.
Yeah.
The way only Stephen King can gut you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie totally copped out on it.
Yeah.
And I was so mad. I'm like, ugh. Yeah. Because if you're going to make Stephen King, the famous man who, whenever you're reading a book and you come to the end of the chapter and you have 15 chapters left to read and the end of the chapter says, and that was the last time he saw him alive, or something like that, and you're just like, no!
Yeah.
Now I know this person's going to die and I have to wait to find out how.
Well,
he just kills off your favorite people.
Yeah.
One of the bad things
nobody's
about
safe.
No.
One of the bad things about Stephen King movies is that you cannot read them at night.
You mean Stephen King books?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cannot read them at night.
There was one, Duma Key, which you never read. I gave it to you and you never read.
I have that, but yeah.
Scared the poop out of me. There was one scene. I mean, the whole book I kind of, was able to grasp and be okay with. But there was one part of it.
What's like that? What is it that
story? Don't you think books are scarier than movies?
Yeah.
That movie 1922 about that guy who kills his wife, and because it's like it takes place like during the Depression. Well, 1922. His wife has a parcel of land.
Yeah. Oh.
And it's like basically like the Telltale Heart.
Right.
In
but
a lot
you
of
know
ways,
what?
But it's like
what
it's
movie?
So...
One of the movies that really scared me, and wasn't it a Stephen King movie? The Room, 14.
Yeah, that room number.
1432 or something like that. With the movie. The movie has John Cusack.
Mm-hmm.
And
as a debunker.
It is so good and scary, but it's not, and it's and so to me that's the kind of scary but that's like probably the very edge of how much I can handle. I can't. Like,
I read Stephen King's story about, it was a time travel thing with the assassination of
John F. Kennedy.
It was the
11
date maybe.
60,
I read the story and it was really good. So when I saw, look, they're making I think it was a series. A series of it. I thought, I'm going to watch that, and it was Zippo Zero like the book. And a lot of the important plot elements weren't even in there.
And I didn't watch it.
And I thought.
I started to watch it, and
he got so mad about how they redid a couple of his movies that he wanted more creative control so they couldn't ruin them. And I'm like, what happened to letting them ruin this? Because it was bad. I watched half, maybe, of one episode, and I said, I'm not watching this. The book was too good, and I don't want to have that ruin my...
Okay, so here's one that was successful. Talking about Stephen King. Sorry, we're all Stephen King fans. Well, Beth and I especially. Are you a Stephen King fan?
I stopped reading. I stopped reading them a long time ago. So,
yeah. But anyway,
not any of his newer stuff.
The Green Mile.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that movie is one of my favorite movies. I wouldn't call it a horror film.
It's not scary.
Not a horror film. It's just an example of his fantastic writing, and the books are. I read the books once because it's like he did them in like in a Charles Dickens fashion, like small
6
little episodes, little books,
yeah.
And I have it on my shelf, and I read it the one time. But the movie was so stinking fantastic that I've never even wondered if it's the same as the book, and it is so good. There's so many. I could talk about that movie for this whole the next hour.
And everybody you love is in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's
well, and I was reading something about.
So well.
I guess I was watching the thing about Galaxy Quest and how they made it in the movie, and I didn't realize. I guess because I've seen it so many times, I didn't realize how old it was. But it was like one of Sam Rockwell's.
First movies,
early on.
Him.
Yeah,
I love him.
I just love Sam
really
Rockwell.
Great. Yeah,
yeah.
And Tom
but
Hanks.
It's one of my favorite lines in there. Is there air? You don't know.
One of the ones I like is, "Did you guys even watch the show?"
Yeah.
So if you don't get it, you have to watch Galaxy Quest. So
yeah.
Well,
you have to watch Star Trek first.
Yes, yeah.
The old Star Trek.
The old Star Treks. Talking about why don't they write a new thing, a new movie when they want to do a sequel, that does not apply to Star Trek or Star Wars movies because they write sequels, but they're not exactly sequels because it is a continuation of the story and it has a new plot or problem. It is not.
Yeah.
Forgive me if you like the Rocky movies because I think they are a colossal waste of time. But
don't hate on us.
But the Rocky movies are the same movie over and over. The Expendables movies are the same movie over and over. They have minor plot differences, but they're the same movie over and over.
You just want to experience the
I always say that it's like if it worked the first time, let's make it again the second time, but more.
Yeah, they do that a lot with everything.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about a few movies coming up.
Yeah, the previews were
that
good.
movie, The Creator.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
That movie I have on my list.
Although I didn't realize
Dumb Money. We didn't see a preview for it today, but there's a movie coming out called Dumb Money, and I cannot wait to see
when
it.
I was watching.
It's about the GameStop stock craziness that happened a few years ago.
Oh yeah, I saw. I mean,
yeah.
I remember seeing that in the
Can't
news,
wait.
but I didn't know what it
Cannot
was.
So when I saw the preview for The Creator, I was like, so this is Terminator and AI combined together?
And iRobot.
Oh, and iRobot. Yeah, that too.
I don't care. It looks good. I'm gonna go see it. And then I want to see that movie.
But what I didn't like was I think it was the director or one of the actors, I don't remember which, saying, you know,
Oh,
this,
the actors,
yeah, this is, you know, the first time that a science fiction movie has, you know, all this drama and stuff. I'm like, what science fiction movies have you been watching?
Heart, yeah. I'm like, no, what are
Heart
you
or
talking
Emotion
about?
or something.
And then that other movie that I saw, I keep seeing ads for it, and I can't remember the name of it. About the oil with Leonardo DiCaprio and
Oh, the
Robert De Niro.
Indians, the Native Americans, and the oil.
yeah, well, what's it called? I can't remember.
Something of the flower.
Yeah,
Killers of the Flower
Children,
Moon,
Flower
something.
Moon,
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
Oh,
Um,
that looks
that
fantastic.
looks incredible. I think I'm gonna go on a limb here. I'm gonna go on a limb. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be looked at as one of the greatest actors of this generation, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He, you know, came from, you know, Gilbert Grape and then Titanic, but in his older age, I'm not saying he was bad in Titanic, but his movies are incredible.
Mm-hmm.
There's been things I watch him in, and I'm just like, he's just so versatile. He reminds me a lot of Tom Hanks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like how he's kind of Tom Hanks everywhere, but he can be different people. You know,
Yeah.
there's those actors that are great actors, and you enjoy watching them, but they're a little bit Jeff Goldblum, right? Jeff Goldblum, love him to death, but he's literally like Jeff Goldblum in every movie. He's the same character no matter what he is.
You know, Jeff Goldblum has
I love him.
done. Jeff Goldblum has done a lot of science fiction movies, right? But I saw him at a Star Trek convention in Denver when they were promoting. What was it that they were promoting? It might have been Independence Day. Was he in that? Yeah, he was. It might have been Independence Day because I remember Brent Spiner was there. Was it Brent Spiner? I don't know. One of the other guys that was in.
Yeah, there was
And-
he's in.
And I know Brent Spiner was
Yeah.
in it. I'm just saying I don't remember who the other guy was. There was 2 or 3 of them there. And at that particular convention, on either side of the stage, they would let people line up to ask questions. And the convention is very mapped out as to whether or not actors are going to do autographs, if
Meet
they're
and greet kind of stuff.
yeah, everything is, you know, this is going on from this time and this is going, and what I really loved about it is the autograph sessions were never going on while somebody else was on stage. So I was in there watching, and somebody asked Jeff Goldblum, is there any way we can get some autographs? And there he is standing in a room with like 5,000 people. Okay. And he said, and he was looking out at the people who were running it when he looked out. And he said, is there any way we could sign some autographs? So he's willing. Okay. It was Brent Spiner. He looked at him and he goes, we have a plane to catch. And there are too many people here. We would be able to do 1 or 2, and then we'd have to go, and everybody else would be mad. So, no. And I was like, had you not been to a Star Trek convention before?
Yeah.
And in case you're wondering, Yes, I have been in those autograph lines, but not for Brent Spiner and not for Jeff.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. One person I really like, and you know, I guess in some ways he's politically active, whatever, and so you know you may agree with his politics or not or whatever, but Sean Penn. You know, he was this goofy guy in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you know, and you know it's kind of this stoner character, whatever, a million years ago, this movie was, and then but then, so I haven't seen a whole lot of his films just because you know, whatever, but there was a couple of movies after he was older. Where there's Mystic River.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
And a movie called The Interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
And in those two movies, you know, he's this, you know, in Mystic River, he's kind of a on the edge of a border guy.
Yeah.
A border of a bad guy. That's what I'm trying to say. And in The Interpreter, he's like a, what do you call it? Not FBI. Secret Service guy, I think. And so, but I was like, he reminds me of Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
In those two movies.
I was gonna say some of my favorites are all the Roberts: Robert Downey Jr., Robert De Niro, and Robert Duvall. Mm-hmm. Those three guys, and especially Robert Duvall. That's one of the last movies I saw him in. I'm like, he's looking so old. But I love Robert.
I recently rewatched.
I could watch him.
Lonesome Dove.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know.
Or in what's that? Open Range? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
With him and Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner. Mm-hmm.
He's so good in that movie. He's so good in that movie.
Yeah.
And in he's one of the only reasons I watch Armageddon. Like, I love that guy. I love that guy.
What was the name of the actor that was in?
Deep Impact.
What was the name of the actor that was in Top Secret and some other silly things like that? And then he did Man Who Broke 1,000 Chains, and he did
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer. Mm-hmm. He sometimes from one role to the next, he does not look like the same person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was in Willow, and he was a goofball. Mm-hmm. He was in Top Secret. He was a goofball, but he was a real
genius.
In a different goofball.
Oh yeah,
yeah, real genius. Yeah, and then he was in Top Gun. You know.
Yeah.
And
or remember the Ghost in the Darkness?
Mm-hmm. I never saw that.
Yeah, and those of you who don't know, he has throat cancer.
Yeah.
And so he was in that latest one that's not Top Gun, but it's like that.
Yeah, Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah. So he also did his son kind of he had been taking video during most of his movies. Mm-hmm. And so he compiled a lot of that, and then his voice sounds a lot like Val Kilmer's voice.
Yeah. And
so he read for him some of the stuff about it, and then at the end you kind of see him and hear him, and it was like so good. Mm-hmm. I think it's just called Val.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a really, really, really good autobiography.
Yeah.
One of the last movies he was in before Maverick was a movie called The Snowman, which is one of my a book by one of my favorite authors, but yeah, he played like a cop, an old like retired cop, whatever, that I guess committed suicide or something in that story. But I remember when that movie came out, because I read the book, you know, the summer that it came out and everything, and then I saw that they were making a film of it, and so when I was watching it and I saw Val Kilmer, I was like, what the heck? I didn't know he was still alive. You know, I was like, because he hadn't been in anything in so long, I guess, or nothing that I was aware of. But by then he was already, you know, had some issues with with it, but yeah.
With the
so I was-
cancer. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So-
about. Oh,
So
sorry.
in that autobiography, he played a joke on his son, because he had the throat cancer, and he's, where his son came in and he's on the floor like he passed out. Can you imagine?
No.
It's like,
That's not funny.
it's
That's
not
not
funny. Scared him to death.
Oh my gosh. What was I gonna say? Oh, talking about books to movies, successes. Probably an obscure book, and I cannot remember the author's name. Forgive me, but Remains of the Day was made into a movie with
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson, and it is
Yeah.
well worth a watch. It is so good. The book is beautiful, but the movie is equally as good. It was really well done. I haven't read very many books lately. I kind of went on a the problem is I go and I read reviews of books. I'm interested in the book, and then I read the reviews, and I always read the bad reviews. And I let it make my decision because, I mean, sometimes people are just like, I didn't like the plot or whatever, but a lot of times you see really good evaluations of it, and then I'm like, I don't want to read a stupid book. What if I accidentally read a stupid book?
Yeah, here's the
I have
thing.
to finish
And I
it.
tell Beth this all the time. She's like, well, I read these reviews or I saw these reviews, and this is how I feel about the reviews, especially if they are reviewing a science fiction anything.
Yeah.
Okay. People who do movie reviews don't like science fiction, and so they will tell you it's crap or it's stupid or whatever, and it's like, why are you going to review a genre that you don't like?
Because a lot of times they have to for their jobs.
Yeah, I know, but there's a built-in bias there,
Yeah.
and so I don't listen to reviews. If it looks interesting to me, I will go see it. I normally don't care who's in it. If it looks interesting to me, I will go see it. I don't go see movies because of the actor that's in it. Now, that being said, Kenneth Branagh pretty much nails it every time he's in a movie. And Denzel Washington.
Don't even talk about my boyfriend like that.
So he's in a movie coming up with, what is the girl? Dakota Fanning. And as soon as he found out that she was playing the other part, he's like, yeah, I'm in it. Because he did that movie, was it called Man on Fire?
Yeah, when she was little.
Yeah.
So good.
What movie is it with Dakota Fanning?
The one Equalizer.
Yeah.
It's one of the Equalizer.
It's the
movies.
one where he's
Equalizer
a
3.
contract killer, and he had stopped doing it.
That's Dakota Fanning?
Yeah, that's
Oh.
Dakota Fanning all grown up.
I thought it was a different person when I was watching the thing today.
Yeah.
I love
So
him.
I want to see that.
I love him. Have you ever seen an Equalizer movie?
I saw the first
Have
one.
you seen one? You should watch the first one to see if you want to go see it.
I probably have.
Yeah. No, they're just very violent.
I know. I don't
Okay.
mind violent movies. I don't like scary movies.
Okay. Beth doesn't mind violence if it's on humans.
Yes.
No violence
You
on
better not hurt a
animals.
dog.
But you can kill all the people you want in her book.
Kelly used to have me go to all the Chuck Norris movies.
Oh no.
And I find that I still like them.
I like Jackie Chan.
I
am a
like-
Jackie
I like
Chan
his
fan.
movies.
I'm
Yeah.
a fan of Jackie Chan.
I am more
Yeah.
likely to see an action movie, not The Expendables.
I know, you've already given your opinion.
Not
on
The Expendables. But I am more likely to go
Mission
see...
Impossible movies have been fun.
I
And
like the
last
Mission
one-
Impossible movies.
The last one's really good, and it's a cliffhanger for the next one. I'm excited about that.
I like
But-
the Mission Impossible movies. Action movies are fine. I just, they need to have a plot. And,
And be written by Simon Pegg. I mean, how can you...
other than driving a car too fast, they need to have a plot.
Well, we have been talking your ears off,
Yes.
and I'm at a stopping place in my knitting, so I have to get scissors, which I don't have, and it's a whole thing, and I got to remember how to do it, so I'm going to go home and do it. But, Oh, I didn't even talk about my work week. So actually, that's good. I don't want to talk about it. It was a very hard week. We're doing a conversion, and it was difficult and exhausting. And I had to work a lot of extra hours, which is nice for my paycheck, but not for my brain, and certainly not for my knitting. Oh, but before we go, I have to tell you about the dinner I had Thursday night. Through a set of circumstances which I cannot share, I was given gift cards to a very nice French restaurant that does like tasting menus, like the whole thing. And I went with a friend, and it was the best food I've ever eaten. It was so nice. And I was like, what if I hate everything? And my daughter said, everyone's been eating these things together, all this stuff, because it's good. You just have to eat whatever they give you, and don't be weird about it. And I was like, that's really hard for me, but okay. And so I just went with it, and everything was surprising and delicious and amazing. So here are some pictures of the dinner. And I took pictures. I took pictures I didn't post them on social media, so I at least have that. All I did was send them to my family. Like, look. But so here's some pictures of my dinner. It was such an amazing experience, and kind of one of those things you just never forget. So anyway, I'll leave you with these yummy pictures, and then we are going to say goodbye for another week, and we will see you. If we get to 400, you'll hear about a giveaway. So if you haven't subscribed, please push that button, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.